Bully Ray said to the Hardys that one of the biggest debates in wrestling is who is the greatest tag team of all time.
Mm-hmm. Always. We're often debating who is the greatest tag team of all time.
And he put the Dudleys and the Hardys in that conversation. And I'm not bothered that he put the Hardys in there, but I'm bothered that he put the Dudleys in there. Now, he did say that everyone knows the greatest tag team of all time is the Road Warriors. He gave the Road Warriors credit.
He did. Yeah, I did hear that.
But I am personally insulted that he would even hint that the Dudleys are even. Have you ever heard anyone who knows anything about wrestling or wrestling history consider the Dudleys even in the conversation for the greatest tag team of all time?
I'm glad you qualified it as somebody knows what they're talking about. Yes, because I'm sure there's some dolt out there that is. But yeah, anybody that knows what the fuck they're talking about, no.
I'm not talking about like Sam Roberts or something like that. Right, I mean someone who knows what they're talking about.
You have to qualify that by somebody that knows something about professional wrestling history that's not WWE. Because, yeah, some of those guys might think the Dudley Boyz. But even in WWE canon, I'm not sure that you can. Even if you are one of those dopes like Dopey Pete or Sam Roberts or whatever, or Jonathan Coachman or any of these idiots, there's no way that you, even in WWE speak, I don't know that the Dudleys, you'd be maybe Edge and Christian, or you'd be the Hardys, or you'd say the Hardys. Or the Usos. The Usos or the Hardys seem like the easy, I'm a modern WWE fan and I have the brain of a fucking goldfish. The Hardys or the Usos would be the pick you'd probably make. Or you'd say the Hart Foundation, even though you don't know shit, but you want to sound smart, so you say the Hart Foundation.
Right. Yeah, right. You say an old team just to give yourself a little hint of credibility.
Yeah, the Hart Foundation. They usually go to the Hart Foundation, which is even funnier, because I would give you more respect if you went with the British Bulldogs, but they always go with the Hart Foundation.
Right. So anyway, Bully's implication here was that this Dudleys versus Hardys one more time.
Yeah. Which, as I pointed out in my article, they did one more time 11 years ago. They did the exact same angle where, to start off an episode of TNA Impact, the Dudleys came out, and then the Hardys came out, and then they said, hey, we're going to do this one more time. And the crowd went, one more time. And Bubba said, we haven't done this in 12 years, but we owe it to these fans to do it one more time. That was 11 years ago that they hadn't wrestled each other in 12 years. And I can't believe we're fucking doing it again in 2025.
And we're doing it again. But his implication here was that this is a huge match in determining who the greatest tag team of all time is.
You got to rip up your list.
And it's not the first time that he has alluded to the fact that he thinks the Dudleys are one of the greatest tag teams of all time. Bully really believes this. And I find it both hilarious and insulting because, again, I don't know one serious person who knows what they're talking about who would even bring up the Dudleys in that kind of conversation. They're just not that level of team. They have Rich. Name a great Dudley Boyz match that didn't involve a table or a ladder.
Can't do it for you. Can
you do that?
I can't. What's your favorite Dudley Boyz ECW match?
Listen, I saw many of them live and I can't give you one.
Right.
Can you, I'll give you one better. Give me 5 great Dudley Boy matches that did involve ladders or tables. You could probably give me about 3.
Okay. I give you Royal Rumble 2000. Did involve a table and a ladder with the Hardys. I'll give you WrestleMania 2000. That's a good match. Involved tables and ladders and stuff. I'll give you SummerSlam 2000. Involved tables and ladders. I'll give you WrestleMania. 5's gonna be tough. I got you to 4. WrestleMania X7. I forget if they were in the other. There was the 5th TLC match that had Benoit and Jericho or whatever. I forget if they were in that match, but that'd be my list. But that's it. Short list.
The point is, this is not a great tag team in any way.
No.
Yeah, the point is, this is not a great tag team in any way, shape, or form, right? I mean, they never drew any money. Do you think they ever drew any money?
No. God, no.
I don't think they ever drew any money. Do you think there's a single promoter, whoever promoted the Dudleys, who has one less penny to their name if the Dudleys had never existed?
Does Heyman have one less penny if the Dudleys never? Yeah, it probably wouldn't have mattered.
They never drew it. Do you think it would have made any difference? They were a good little
gimmick. They were a good little thing on the show, but nobody bought tickets to hear Bully Ray call them a slur or something. No, probably not.
The Dudley gimmick is because Paul Heyman loved the movie Slapshot. Okay, so they got their gimmick from Slapshot. They stole their act from Public Enemy. Let's be honest. They totally ripped off Public Enemy's routine for their act. And they got one of their catchphrases from a Budweiser commercial. That's what the Dudleys are. And they're a gimmick team that has no historical relevance whatsoever, other than being the third team in some innovative, famous ladder matches, other than being the third wheel team in those matches. Is that a fair assessment of the Dudleys?
I think that's fair. I think that's absolutely fair.
So I'm sitting there listening to Bully Ray talk about how they're among the greatest tag teams of all time, and it was pissing me off, to be honest. And I'm sitting there watching this, and I thought to myself, I think I can name 100 teams better than the Dudleys with minimal effort. I don't even have to try hard.
100 teams better than the Dudleys.
100 teams off the top of the dome, Rich Craich, that either drew more money, were better workers, have a better resume of matches, or are more historically significant than the Dudleys, or in some cases, all of the above. 100 teams. I thought to myself, I can do that with minimal effort, and I did. And it took me about 40 minutes. And you know what I'm going to do right now, Rich Craich?
We're going to do it all?
I'm going to name every fucking team.
Let's
all
fucking
100.
Go. Let's fucking go.
That are 1,000. Now, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something else, Rich Craich. I went over 100.
Just to show off, yeah.
I kept going, and I was able to get over 100. But you know what I did? I pared it down to 100.
Nice round number.
I am 100% convinced that you will not even dispute or argue or say, maybe to any of these 100 teams.
Okay. So the gimmick is you're gonna say them, and I'll tell you if I think they're better. That they're better than the Dudleys.
No, that'll take too long. I'm so confident.
You're just gonna run them all down?
I'm gonna read all 100, and you're gonna listen quietly. And at the end of that, you're gonna say, Joe, I don't know, maybe but you're not gonna do that.
Okay, I'll get the notepad. I'll get the notepad out anyway in case anyone does catch my eye or catch my ear. So,
and once again, here's the criteria. Because I think this is fair criteria for the greatest tag teams of all time. Because every team is different. Pro wrestling is varied, right? You got workers, So I contend that all 100 teams I'm about to name either drew more money, that's easy, are better workers, that's even easier. I can name probably 500 that are better workers. Have a better overall resume of top-end matches, or are more historically significant than the Dudleys. Those are the criteria. Is that fair criteria?
That seems very fair. For the to declare somebody the greatest tag team of all time, yes, very fair.
And I also contend that many of these teams tick multiple, if not all four of the boxes. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Here are 100 teams that are definitely better than the Dudleys. 1, Holy Demon Army. Settle in, because we're doing them all. 2, Midnight Express, Eaton and Condrey. 3, Midnight Express, Eaton and Lane. 4, Rock and Roll Express. 5, Patterson and Stevens. 6, the Road Warriors. 7, the Fantastics. And that's Fulton and Rogers. I could be a real asshole about this and give you Fulton and Fulton,
Absolutely.
But I'm not even going to do that.
You could and you should, but you're not. Okay.
8, the British Bulldogs. 9, the Hart Foundation. 10, the Fabulous Kangaroos. 11, Dusick Family Riot Squad. And we're going to go with Emil and Ernie here. I could give you other combinations, but again, I'm going to be nice to Bully Ray. 12, Freebirds. 13, New Day. 14, Usos. 15, Arn and Tully. 16, Arn and Ole. 17, Ole and Gene. 18, Arn and Bobby Eaton.
I was hoping. All right. Thank you.
19, Bobby Eaton and Coco Beware. 20, Lawler and Dundee. 21, Jumbo and Yoshiaki Yatsu. 22, Doc and Gordy. 23, Masawa and Kawada. 24, Masawa and Kobashi. Settle in for this 8 All Japan run. You see my train of thought.
Is this one your train of thought? I'm trying to, as you're doing this list, because this is how you wrote the list down, right? In this
Listen
order.
to me. These were These are in no order other than off the dome.
Okay, so I'm wondering. I always wonder how you went from one name to another, but now I can tell that you've decided I'm in All Japan. Let's fucking go and let's do all of them right now.
You see me bouncing from region to era to promotion because I'm just thinking off the top of my head. Where'd I leave off? 24, Misawa and Kobashi?
Correct, yeah.
25, Kobashi and Johnny Ace. 26, Misawa and Yoshinari Ogawa. 27, The Funks. 28, Brody and Hansen. 29, Hansen and Gordy. 30, Furness and Croffett. 31, The Steiners. 32, Tenzan and Kojima. 33, Kengo Kimura and Tatsumi Fujinami. 34, Inoki and Sakaguchi. 35, Inoki and Baba. 36, Kenta and Marufuji. 37, the Briscoes, Mark and Jay. 38, the Young Bucks. 39, FTR. 40, Omega and Ibushi. 41, Omega and Hangman Page. 42, Ogawa and Zack Sabre Jr. 43, Gato and Jado. 44, Raka and Perez. 45, Adonis and Ventura. 46, Demolition. 47, the Rockers. 48, the High Flyers. 49, Bockwinkel and Stevens. 50, Butcher and Mad Dog Vachon. 51, Bruiser and Crusher. 52, Steamboat and Youngblood. 53, Snuka and Brody. 54, the Briscoes, Jerry and Jack. Why I didn't think of them after the first set of Briscoes, I couldn't tell you.
That's where your brain went. Who knows? It got there. It got there eventually.
55, the Hardys. 56, the Young Pistols / the Southern Boys. 57, the Nightmares, Ken Wayne and Danny Davis. Don't Google Ken Wayne. Just go watch the matches, but don't Google Ken Wayne.
Don't.
58, Crush Gals. 59, Beauty Pair. 60, Baba and Jumbo. 61, Sakamoto and Okabayashi. 62, Akiyama and Kobashi. 63, Hansen and Tenryu. 64, Inoki and Fujinami. 65, Tenryu and Jumbo. 66, Tenryu and why am I tripping over this? Hara, Tenryu and Hara, forget the first name. 67, Sharp Brothers. 68, the Assassins. In this case, obviously, Hamilton and Ernesto.
And by the way, Sharp Brothers, one of the most monumental teams in the history of, because a lot of people listening to this might not know about them. Recently went into the Wrestling Observer Hall of Fame. Just a massive, massive team. Pretty much set the standard for Gaijin teams in Japan. So just an insane. Has to be on that list.
We're going south of the border, baby. 69, Eddie Guerrero and Art Barr. 70, the Lucha Brothers. 71, Silver King and Tejano. 72, Ultimo Guerrero and Rey Bucanero. 73, Santo and Gory Guerrero. 74, Rene Guajardo and Carlos Lagarde. 75, Black Shadow and Blue Demon. 76, Santo and Ray Di Jalisco. 77, Dr. Wagner and Angel Blanco. 78, the Astronauts. 79, Masato Tanaka. And Yoshino and Doi was 79. Yoshino and Doi. 80, Manami Toyota and Toshio Yamada. 81, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn / El Generico. 82, Owen Hart and British Bulldog. 83, Ricky Dozan and Toya Nobari. 84, the Wild Samoans. 85, the Fabulous Rougeau Brothers. 86, the Motor City Machine Guns. 87, the Hollywood Blondes. 88, the Hollywood Blondes, Buddy Roberts and Jerry Brown.
Hell yeah.
89, Red Dragon. 90, the Kings of Wrestling. 92, Davey Richards and Eddie Edwards. 93, did I miss one? Did I skip a number in there? Let me go back. Motor City Machine Guns, Hollywood Blondes, Red Dragon, Kings of Wrestling, Davey Richards. No, I did not. 90. It's 92, though, not 93 that I'm on. Christopher Daniels and Frankie Kazarian. 93, the Fabulous Ones. 91, Ric Flair and Greg the Hammer Valentine. 95, Dusty Rhodes and Dick Murdoch. 96, Arn Anderson and Ric Flair. 97, Owen Hart and Yokozuna. 98, Larry the Axe Hennig and Harley Race. 99, the Fabulous Fargos. Do the Fargo strut for me, Rich Fake. 100, Ivan and Nikita Koloff. That is 100 tag teams that are 1,000%, without question, without a shadow of a doubt, better than the Dudleys in at least one and multiple of those criteria that I laid out at the top. Can you dispute that at all, Rich Craig?
There is one team I wrote down the entire time. Owen Hart and Yokozuna is a bit of a reach. I think you could very easily replace them with any number of your teams that you lopped off.
I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you had one because I have 17 teams that I can give you now.
All
that
right,
you
let me
can
see
replace
if any of those 17 can replace Owen Hart and Yokozuna, who I think, that's a little loose. That's a little loose.
1, Dusty Rhodes and Magnum TA.
Okay, you've replaced them.
2, Adrian Adonis and Dick Murdoch.
Okay, you've
3,
replaced them again.
Sabu and Rob Van Dam.
Oh my God! How did you get to 103 and then said, Sabu and RVD? Yeah.
Because I realized the next day I forgot some, baby, but don't think I wasn't going to write them down. 4, Bad Company. In this case, Brian Pillman and Bruce Hart. 5, Bad Company. In this case, Pat Tanaka and Paul Diamond. 6, the Sheep Herders. 7, the Orient Express. 8, the Mega Powers. 9, the Heavenly Bodies. How did I forget the Heavenly Bodies? 10, Snuka and Gordy. 11, Aussie Open. 12, Lance Storm and Chris Candido. 13, the Islanders. 14, the Samoan SWAT team. 15, Public Enemy. 16, Apollo 55. 17, Time Splitters. Do you want me to keep going? That's 117.
Pretty easy. Yeah, pretty easy.
Easy. Off the top of the dome.
I couldn't believe how when you got into the 80s, I was like, oh God, this is there was very easy to do. Very easy to do. I would say the Sheep Herders, you could double dip on the Sheep Herders too, because I'm watching a lot of the Jonathan Boyd, Luke Williams Sheep Herders, and they fucking rock. They're so good.
Absolutely.
They're so good. And obviously the Luke Williams, it's easily.
I mean, really, this was so easy. I didn't even struggle to come up with 100.
And you pretty much kept to the 70s, 80s, 90s to 2000s to the current, and pretty much kept to America, a little of Japan and a little bit of Mexico. You could have gone, and even like big time in Dragon Gate, there was probably several Dragon Gate teams you could have done.
I did one Dragon Gate team, Yoshino and Doi.
Right.
One Dragon Gate team. I didn't have to go any deeper than one Dragon Gate team. I mean, this was easy. I got to 100 and I said, man, I should have challenged myself and said 200. And then I went to bed and I hit the pillow and I started thinking of more. And I started getting up in the middle of the night and writing them down.
Shining Wizard points out Zeus and Bodyguard. Got to get Zeus and Bodyguard in there.
I mean, seriously, did I reach it all?
The only one that I wrote down of the 100 was Owen Hart and Yokozuna. That was the only one I wrote down.
But they could easily be replaced by one of the other 17,
the first name you gave me was, Dusty and Magnum? And I said, okay, they've been replaced.
I mean, any of those other 17.
Did you even say the New Age Outlaws?
No.
Yeah, you don't even do that many other WWF teams, like contemporary WWF teams. You didn't do Edge and Christian either.
They are not on my list.
Right. I mean, those two are probably better than the Dudleys in the current time.
I left off Arn and Larry Zbyszko, the Enforcers. I don't know. I feel like that wasn't even a challenge.
That seemed too easy.
Who did the Dudleys clear out of anyone I named?
Owen Hart and Yokozuna is the only one I have. It's pretty remarkable. Yeah, when you lay it out that way, when you put it that way, Joe, it is
Did you think it was going to run out of steam around 70?
I thought by like 65 you were going to be I thought there'd be a little bit more of like these Owen Hart Yokozuna teams, and I'm like, Joe, they were a team for a half a year and didn't do it. But no, it was like I said, when you started getting into the 80s and you were like, all right, now we're going to Mexico, and I was like, oh boy, it's like El Santo, and oh god, all right, we're
by 65, I didn't even touch Lucha yet.
Yeah.
I didn't even get to Santo and Gory Guerrero yet.
Right. When you gave me Santo and Gory Guerrero in like 76 or something, I was like, okay.
These are still slam dunks at that point.
Right.
Like, it's not even arguable.
Did you say the Outsiders? Because I think they drew a little bit more money than the Dudley Boyz with a Z.
No, I mean, I left off a lot of teams that I thought even might walk the line to, maybe. because I felt like there were enough slam dunks where I didn't have to even push it. I didn't put the Killer Bees on here because I thought to myself, would I watch 1,000 Killer Bee matches before one Dudley Boyz match? Yes, I would. But there might be some listener who's like, oh, come on, the Killer Bees. So there were teams that popped into my head that I didn't even write down because I felt like, no, I can get 100 dunks. I can get 100 fucking Florida Gulf Coast alley-oop dunks on Georgetown in that 15-2 game in the NCAA tournament. Remember that game?
Oh, yeah.
Dunk City? I said I have a 100 alley-oop dunks where if you even dispute me, you're showing your lack of knowledge if you think the Dudleys clear any of these 100 teams. And that's what I did. And it took me like 40 minutes. It wasn't even hard. I Googled nothing. It was simple.
I could tell from your train of thought. I could tell that none of that was really Googled. It was just kind of
following where my brain was going as I was
like,
it was
because you did like Crawford and Furness, and then I could tell you were like, then the Steiners, because you were thinking, all right, who's big beefed up Gaijins? The Steiners. Let's go. All right. So no, it definitely, and you did it all without Too Cool 2. So that was, it's also pretty tough too. Without whatever what was the name of Too Cool 2? It was like
Too Cool 2. Yes.
The Memphis guys. Yeah, it was fucking. Ackerman Razor, I forget what their name was.
I barely touched Memphis. I did Lawler and Dundee. I did Eaton and Sweet Brown Sugar. That was pretty much it. I mean, there were a lot of territories I didn't even touch.
You didn't really touch the territories. You didn't touch any modern company. Like very, very rarely did you touch.
Very little modern.
Very little like Attitude Era either. Like you didn't, not even in their day. Like even in their day, which I said again, you could use the New Age Outlaws, and the New Age Outlaws are a slam dunk bigger deal than the Dudleys ever were. The Outsiders are multitudes more. Chris Benoit had several teams at that time. He teamed with Chris Jericho, and they had a great run. Yeah, it's. And here's the best part about it. As far as I could tell, those were all male teams, right?
I had the Crush Gals, Beauty Pair. I had Toyota and Yamada, of course.
So you had a couple.
I didn't have any American women's teams. But I didn't have to think hard at all. I just wrote down, I got to 100 and I was like, this was cake.
Yeah.
These are just, I got all the iconic teams.
I think you could have done 250. I think you could have done 250 pretty easily if you needed to.
Well, see, here's the thing. If I'm doing just based on work, it's going to be too subjective, but I know I can get to 200 easy. Like without even a sweat, I can get to 200 easy if it's just work. But I'm trying to be like, all right, work I considered the least. Like work, they'd have to have one of the other categories too. You see what I'm saying? Because I don't want people coming at, because work is very subjective. I don't think I don't know. This was very simple.
Potentially too easy. Yeah.
I mean, you know. Yeah, and
the Death Missionaries. It's great. You didn't bring up Los Brazos or the Death Missionaries.
Well, that's funny because I'm going to tell you why. Because I thought of them and I didn't break up. Like I could have broke up the Viano tag team out of the. But I said, you know what? If you notice, I did 10 or 11 lucha teams, and they were all teams. I didn't even touch trios. Could you imagine if I started naming trios? We'd be here all fucking night. I didn't. So I thought about them, but I said, you know what? I'm going to stick.
Yeah, I'll stick to just strictly tag teams, 2-person tag teams.
Yeah, I'm not going to break out. Like, I'm not going to do that. And there you go. So, very simple. I didn't go to Puerto Rico. I didn't even touch I didn't even think about Puerto Rico. I didn't think about, there was several territories I didn't think about. So that's 100 tag teams who are without question, definitely with and cannot be in dispute, would rank higher than the Dudleys on an all-time list. He's got a lot of fucking nerve thinking they're even in the conversation.